Good morning, everybody. Good morning, ladies in the Well Women's Club. Good morning, everybody watching at KR Natural Healing. I'm very excited to bring you my November interview guest, and it is Jackie Marsden. She is a colleague and a friend of mine, and she's a reflexologist and acupuncturist. She's also a wonderful mom of two. And if you've been watching my stories, she's got quite a few interesting outdoor hobbies, such as swimming in the cold open water, no matter what the season. So welcome, Jackie, to today's live interview. I am really, really pleased to have you here. How are you?
Oh, thank you, Kristen. It's really lovely for you to invite me. So thank you for having me.
It's
I'm doing
my
really
pleasure.
well this morning. Thank you.
Excellent, excellent. So I know you and I have this common ground about living a more natural lifestyle. So just from your personal and your professional perspective, what does it take for you? What does it mean for you to live a more natural lifestyle to your well-being and in general?
I think really fundamentally it's about reconnecting with nature and reconnecting with those natural rhythms, that really natural wisdom really that we all innately have inside of us. But we just forget about it because we live such busy lives and we're always, encouraged to be rushing about, achieving so much, spending so much, paying all the bills, and so many pressures. But actually, living a natural lifestyle is more about slowing down, becoming aware of what you're doing, how you're moving, what you're eating, how you're taking care of yourself, how you're interacting with people, what you speak, what you watch, what you read. It's just, that overall awareness of really reconnecting with nature and realizing that you are you're not even part of nature, you are nature. And so, it's just that real awareness of, just trying to make healthy choices and knowing what really nourishes you mentally as well as physically.
Yeah. And is that something that you kind of share with your clients in your practice as well?
Yeah.
Beautiful cottage.
Thank you. It is. I mean, lots of people come to me because they've got particular ailments or they've got particular concerns with their health. But it's, making them aware of the holistic umbrella. It's not just about a knee pain, for example, or a back pain. It can be about, well, what do you do day to day? Are you sitting at a desk all day? Are you giving yourself a chance to move around? Are you drinking enough fluids? Are you taking enough exercise? Are you taking enough breaks? What's going on in your life emotionally? Are you stressed about anything in particular? And then if they come for reflexology in particular, I can see things in their feet that maybe I would never diagnose anything, but I can interpret the feet sometimes in a way that can switch on a little light bulb for somebody and make them think about something maybe a little bit differently, or just shed some light in an area that maybe was in darkness to them before, and that then can open other doors for their healing journey. So it's
a little example.
You put me on the spot now.
Sorry.
Well, like for example, in traditional Chinese medicine, the lungs are all about grief. So we hold the emotion of grief in our lungs. But grief doesn't necessarily mean we're grieving because we've you know, we're bereaved because somebody's died, it could mean an aspect of your life has been lost or changed really suddenly, and you might be grieving for those old times and you're not quite sure about the new times. And so sometimes people have quite like hard yellowing skin over the lung area, so I can maybe bring that up as maybe a possible emotional connection for them to consider. And sometimes people say, oh no, I don't really understand what you're talking about, that doesn't really resonate with me, but then they go away and think about it, and after a few days or a few weeks it starts to process. And you know, I'm just there to support people going through their journey. So
Yeah,
it is a wonderful position to be in. And obviously I don't have perfect health myself, so I go to my therapists, and the reverse happens for me. So it's just about supporting each other, really, isn't it?
absolutely. And I think what I love so much about complementary therapies, especially what you do, is the fact that we are all based on Chinese medicine,
Mm-hmm.
and that obviously we similarly in my line of work with nutrition, we also interpret the signs of, you know, the different organs, and according to the Chinese body clock, which is so fascinating. If people knew more about the Chinese body clock, they
Mm-hmm.
could start to understand more the impact of the choices that they're making.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so it's a wonderful kind of learning to share with the people that come to see us.
Definitely.
So
And
tell us, yeah, sorry, go on.
And just following on from that, I was going to say, I often say to my clients that come into my clinic, it's very East meets West in my clinic, because my reflexology training was very much Western medicine based, with like a sprinkling of the 5 elements and the traditional Chinese medicine. But then when I went on to study acupuncture, that's very you know, Eastern medicine based. So I do sort of tend to work with both. And so, yeah, it's very much West meets East in my clinic.
Yeah, yeah, which is
So,
lovely.
yeah.
So how did you tell us, how did you come to complementary therapy? How did you get to study reflexology? How did you choose that path? And then acupuncture?
Um, my path's slightly unusual. um, and I would say my path towards reflexology was quite spiritual. Um, I first had reflexology during my pregnancy, um, my my first pregnancy, but I never. When I look back, I don't actually ever remember finding out what reflexology is about. It was something that I think I always sort of knew what it meant,
Yeah,
which, yeah, it just sort of clarifies for me that maybe that was just something that I was always going to do. That was always going to be my path. Um, and then I did actually look at the training and how much it was going to cost and all the time it was going to take and everything while I was pregnant. And it was just, you know, one of those sort of pipe dreams, really, is like, you're never going to be able to do this because, you know, you don't have enough money, you don't have enough time, you're now going to give birth to your first child, you know, it's just not going to happen for you. So it just sort of got put on the back burner, and I, you know, I maybe dreamt a little bit about it, but ultimately just said to myself, that's not going to happen right now. But then after a few years, my circumstances changed, and I was made redundant from my publishing post, which I was actually secretly quite happy about because I was ready to just be a full-time mummy for a bit. And this was the point when my second daughter arrived. And then after a while, I contracted pleurisy, which is a really nasty chest infection, basically. But it's where the lining of the lung rubs because the fluid sort of dries out, and it's really painful to cough. It's painful to get out of bed. You feel like you're being stabbed with a knife, and it's absolutely draining. And so I felt like I got so low during that period that I had to give the just last breaths of my energy to the children, my husband, and just keeping things ticking over at home, that I just had nothing left for myself. And I got to a really, really low point mentally and emotionally. That I think I just didn't know who I was anymore. I knew I was a wife and a mother, but I didn't know who was I anymore. So one morning, during these dark times, I just woke up, and I just had this message that came to me in my mind: study reflexology, become a reflexologist. And that was a real turning point. I started to feel better. I decided that was what I was going to do. I found a course that wasn't too far away from me. And that's, started to feel better and get better, and really started a new chapter. And the rest's history, should we say.
Wow, I love that, because that is so, that I can totally relate to that also, from the mum point of view. Becoming a mum suddenly renders you, a mum, you're a wife, and you have got everything that you actually ever wanted, but you've kind of lost yourself.
Yeah.
I found myself in that situation, and then that epiphany that, illness brings you the opportunity to start a new path and discover that new path. I think we've got that in common, and actually I didn't realize that we had that in common. So thank you for sharing that.
It's it's definitely part of my own healing process as well, because as I started to learn about how the body works and the Chinese medicine and the 5 elements aspect, it really helped me unravel how I manifested that illness in the first place, mentally and emotionally. And when I look back now, I can see how I manifested it and how I allowed myself to stew on things that didn't work out for me in the past. And I really grieved over certain milestones in my life that didn't happen the way I wanted them to. And so I can really see how that all fitted together in what happened to me, physically, mentally, and emotionally. So I really sort of understand how that can work and how that can manifest and play out, and then really manifest physically into ill health. And so that is a story that I do share with some of my clients, in sort of helping them understand what might be happening to them, or what could be happening or might be round the corner.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, a complete parallel between how you and I work. That's exactly how, the same basis for my work, which is lovely that we can share that with our clients. So now, I know I said, have you got maybe a couple of tips from your professional perspective, reflexology, acupuncture, that you can share with us today, that we can use straight away to boost our sense of well-being?
Sure. Well, I know a lot of people suffer with lower back pain. That can be quite a common thing. So there's a couple of points on the hands I can show you. So these are acupuncture points, but you can just massage into them with your fingertips, and just gently for a couple of minutes while you're watching TV, or while you're just relaxing in bed before you go to sleep, or when you wake up in the morning. So you basically slide down in between the first two metacarpals, and there'll be a little pressure point, like a little depression just before the junction, and it might feel a little bit bruised. And then there's a second one down in between the little finger and the fourth finger. Again, you'll feel a little depression and it might feel a little bit bruised, but if you can work those two together, they can really help with acute lumbar pain.
Does it matter which hand we're massaging?
No, but you can do it bilaterally, so work both hands. But I find sometimes one feels more bruised than the other. So I would say that's my body telling me that that needs a little bit of attention. And just be gentle with yourself. Obviously, you don't want to press too firmly if it does feel bruised. But we're just asking the body to open up to that and go and take a look. So yeah, that's a good one for lower back pain. This is a good one for lumbar as well here. Just find the midway between the nose and the top lip and the philtrum, and then just go up slightly. And just in there, you can just put some pressure on it, or you can tap maybe. But that's a really powerful dynamic point going right over into the lumbar. So they're good ones for back pain.
Lovely.
Another good one for just pain in general is large intestine 4. So hang on, I'm back to front here. So you get your hands and go hello, hello, and where the fold meets, on the upper bit, so not the thumb side but the finger side, just press into there. Just press into there, and you can, once you've found the point, you can then open your hand and just press in. That can sometimes feel a little bruised, but that's a really good one for pain. That's part of the pain gates. So people come in with pain, I would usually pop that one in. So that's a good one, and again, work bilaterally. And then a good one for stress, so for a reflexology aspect, we've got the solar plexus, which is right in the middle of the palm. I like to, if you've got a favourite hand cream to use where you can inhale some essential oils through the hand cream, and you can just gently circle that. And make sure you keep your hands relaxed, don't sort of be holding them up. You want it nice and relaxed.
I would definitely be using the Neil's Yard body butter, the women's balancing that you got me. That one is just a dream.
Yeah, and again, work bilaterally. And because this is the solar plexus reflex, so we're targeting that bundle of nerves that we have just like in our sort of in between our chest and tummy, that bundle that sort of we get a bit butterflies or a bit anxious. That's where it all is. And so just circling or massaging into that area is working into that reflex. So we're aiming to have a corresponding effect on the body. And another lovely way you can use this point is just take in a nice inhale, and then as you exhale, just gently press in and let your hands curl over. Not your hands, your fingers, sorry. So you can go inhale and then exhale, press. And then just release as you inhale again. And then exhale, press. And that can just be a wonderful way to just give yourself a little bit of calm if you're feeling a bit stressy throughout the day, or you've just read an email that's really stressed you out, or you've just had a phone call and just take a step back and do that little exercise with the breathing and the solar plexus. Just give you face.
Lovely. Thank you very much, Jackie. I'll be trying all of these this week and going forward. I think I've already found my favorite one. The plexus one.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely.
If you've got frankincense, so
Okay.
at Neil's Yard Remedies do a wonderful frankincense hand serum, and that's just a wonderful aroma to do with that solar plexus breathing technique, because frankincense essential oil is just wonderful for relaxation. It really can lower the heart rate and deepen the inhale. So it's a really lovely one to do for sort of meditation and breathing, breath work.
Brilliant. I will look that up if I've got any at home. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. I've loved all of the tips you've given us. I've loved our conversation. I would say, on my behalf, if anybody has any questions and watches this in replay, and please just put the comments, questions underneath the video, and Jackie and myself will jump in and answer them at a later point. So thank you so much, Jackie, for this morning, for your time, for sharing your stories and your advice. And I look forward to seeing you again soon. And we'll pop some details of how people can reach you. Please do pop them under the video so that people can reach you and where to find you, where to find your cottage, your clinic, if they'd like to reach out for some alternative therapies with you. So thank you so much for today, and take care, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you for having me, Kay.
You're very welcome. Bye, everyone.
Bye.